everybody, it's Robin and welcome back to my channel. Today on the Robin's Nest, we are going to be making another PennyWise cake. Except this one, we're going to be decorating the base icing with this really cool marbleized buttercream technique I've been seeing all over YouTube. It is so neat, you guys are not even going to believe it. I just hope mine works out so you guys can see what it looks like. Well, let's get into it. So for today's cake, I baked up 3 6-inch vanilla cake layers and I've dyed them blood red with a little bit of AmeriColor Super Red. So the first thing we need to do is trim these down and level them out, and I'm going to be using a cake leveler. Now I must say how much I absolutely love this thing. I am terrible with a knife and this gives me perfectly level layers every time. And you can find a link to this and lots of other cake supplies in the description box below. And I will mention these are affiliate links, so I do make a small percentage per purchase, but they really help my little channel grow, so thank you. So now that I finished leveling my layers, it's time to stack and fill them. And today we're going to be using a little bit of vanilla American buttercream, which I've colored with AmeriColor Super Black. Now we're just going to put a little bit on our cake board to give our cake something to stick to. And you're going to take your first layer and press it down. And now we're just going to use our bag and pipe a nice thin layer all over. And then we're going to smooth that out using an offset spatula, and then repeat that step for each layer. And now we can move on to our crumb coat. So the first thing I'm going to do here is clean up this little bit of black that is sticking out around the edges, because we don't want that to smear into our crumb coat. And then we're going to do a nice light coat of white buttercream. So now that we finished our crumb coat, we can pop this in the fridge to chill for about 15 or 20 minutes to allow it to set and fully crust over. And in the meanwhile, we can start working on our fondant decorations. And the first one I'm going to make is going to be our little Georgie topper. So for our little Georgie boy, I've already pre-mixed some fondant colors to use. So here we have some lemon yellow for his little rain jacket. I have some black mixed up for his pants, some flesh color for his head and his hands, some brown for his shoes, and I also have a little wooden skewer that we're going to use here for support up inside his body. Now, before I start, we're going to add a little bit of Tylose powder to each one of our colors, and then we're going to see if we can make them take shape. Alright, and there's our sad little Georgie, but I think he looks so cute and I can't wait to see him on the cake. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to set him off to the side to dry for a little bit, and we're going to go grab our cake because we're going to start the first part of our final coat of icing, because it's actually a multi-step process and it's quite magical, so hopefully it turns out. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is take our icing colors of choice, and I'm using red and white today, but you guys can use as many colors as you like. And this is going to seem a little strange, but we're going to take our red and we're going to mix it right into the white. Now, we don't want to make it blend, because that'll just make it look pink. We just want to make it sort of ribbon through the white a little bit, so we're just going to mix it ever so gently, and then we're going to take nice big dollops and spatula it onto the cake, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. you're just going to take a nice big clump like this, and we're just going to lay it onto the cake and just press and sort of pull away. And it's going to be really thick and look kind of awkward, and this is probably going to take a lot of icing, but we're going to be scraping a lot of this off, so that's okay. And you're just going to repeat this all the way around until you have a whole bunch of icing on your cake. All right, we fully covered our cake and it's really messy, so we're gonna smooth this out a little bit. So I'm just gonna take a bench scraper and we're just gonna ever so gently smooth this and even things out a little bit. Now you're probably gonna think, what is she doing? Is she crazy? You're defeating the purpose of everything that you just did. But trust me, the magic happens after we freeze the cake. So I'm just gonna take my bench scraper and we're gonna smooth this out, then we're gonna pop it in the freezer for about an hour, and then when we come back, we're gonna start working on our final decoration. So for our final decoration, once again, I'm going to be hand painting an image of PennyWise for the front of our cake. So to do this, I'm going to roll out a piece of white fondant. Then we're going to take this stencil that I've drawn up, and I'm going to use this to transfer the image onto that piece of fondant. Then we're going to take some gel food colors in some red and some black and possibly some white, mixed with a little bit of water to dilute, and we're going to use that to paint it onto the fondant. Alright, there we go, and I think he turned out really good. You guys leave me a thumbs up if you like him. But he is really wet, so we're going to have to set this guy up to dry for a little bit, and in the meanwhile, we're going to go grab our cake, and we're going to smooth out that final coat of icing. Alright, so I've grabbed my cake, and it's frozen really well. I also have a metal bed scraper, lots of paper towel, an empty bowl for my scrapings, and I also have some boiled water in a separate bowl that I'm going to use to heat my bench scraper with. So we're just going to start by warming up our bench scraper. You're going to be careful because it's really hot. And you're going to wipe off the excess water, and we're going to start scraping. You're going to have to press fairly hard to get any icing off. And you're just going to keep repeating this process until you achieve the pattern you're looking for. Alright, now you're going to keep repeating this process and scraping the buttercream off as you go, revealing the pattern underneath. Now if you find your icing starting to soften up and it starts to smear as opposed to lift and reveal the pattern, you can pop this back in the freezer for a few minutes and then you can continue to smooth it out until you're finished. All right, there we go. I think that looks really cool. What do you guys think? Now, I was hoping for some thicker red ribbons flowing through it, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. It has a nice smeared blood effect going for it, which is pretty cool. All right, so we are almost done. We just have a couple of things left to do. Before I add my PennyWise image to the front of the cake, we're gonna stipple a little bit of black food color onto the side so that way it kind of blends into it. And then we're going to add our final decorations, and then I have one more tiny little decoration I'm going to make for the front, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Well guys, here it is, the finished product, and I love it. I think it looks awesome. We have a hand-painted PennyWise for the front of the cake, a little Georgie on top, and I even made Georgie's little paper boat too. I think it looks so cute. And to make this cake just a little bit more extra, I made some homemade strawberry lollipops for the top to look like balloons too. And if you guys are interested, I'll drop that recipe in the description box below. Well, that's it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. Leave a big thumbs up and lots of love in the comment section too. And if you haven't done so already and you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you receive a notification every time I post a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!